What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country on a daily basis that you need to know about here on our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed here, make sure to click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on new videos. It's completely free to do so. Just click the subscribe button. And remember, the new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will keep you up to date here. And in this video, we're going to talk about federal stimulus check, possibility of $1,400 or more, and how at least 10 states have approved stimulus checks. Will your state be next? There's actually more than this, but this is at least a list here from Forbes. We'll be going over that here in this video here. So let's jump right in. Here we go. But first, check this out. Would you like to be more productive and get more work done in less time? Then you need to check out ClickUp. ClickUp is the one app to replace them all. It's the future of work and goes beyond project management. Designed for individuals and businesses of any size, ClickUp can help you save time and make work simpler. ClickUp is fully customizable and offers tasks, docs, goals, reminders, calendars, and even an inbox. With ClickUp, you can sync all of your third-party integrations like calendars, messaging apps, and more, so you can access everything you need in one place. And you can access ClickUp from any device like mobile, desktop, and voice assistants. You can even automate some of your busy work so you can spend more time on the important things. So check out ClickUp today. Be more productive and save 1 day of work a week. Use code IT'sJimmy to get 15% off. Massive unlimited plan for 1 year. Meaning you can start reclaiming your time for under $5 a month. Click the link down below in the description or in the pinned comment below. Okay, with the recent inflation rating at 8.6% and heading up, the federal government has to do something, especially because they're taking in more and more money, and there's $800 billion of approved stimulus money just sitting there on the sidelines from stimulus package 1, 2, and 3 that's already been passed, just sitting there unused. Similar to the $350 billion that went out to states, and states are now using this money to send out stimulus checks of their own. Check this out. Yeah, at least 10 states have approved stimulus checks. Will your state be next? Here we go. 10 states will send or have already sent one-time payments to taxpayers in the coming months. An additional 10 states have introduced proposals to send similar payments. That's a total of 20 states. There's actually a few more, especially considering the proposals. If I'd have to go back through all my videos to really come up with the exact amounts, which would just take me forever to come up with the the total number here. It would just take me forever. But as you can see here, plans focused on specific sectors or groups such as gas cards, disbursements based on income thresholds, in theory could help ease the pain caused by prices of specific goods or services, aka inflation, without putting as much pressure on prices broadly, says Andrew Patterson, senior international economist at Vanguard, which is one of the largest investment firms in the world. They manage billions of dollars of money investments. Okay, approved state stimulus checks and rebate checks program. These are ones that have already passed. 10 states have already approved legislation to get tax rebates flowing to their residents. Here's how these payments are going. Colorado, $400 rebate payments. These have actually been raised here. I will show you. Yeah, they have now raised they have now said that these are expected to be a minimum of $500 per person and $1,000 per joint filers. So, and that's the minimum amount they expect them to be. So they've actually gone up uh, based on the amount of money, I guess, in the kitty. Yeah. So they've gone from $400 to a minimum of $500, the state says. Yeah, this is after Colorado Governor Jared Polis signed a bill in late May. The exact amount depends on state revenue totals, but lawmakers expect every full-time resident who files a 2021 tax return before June 30th will receive a payment in September. So it's coming, but the amount has gone up. Yeah, pretty cool. The state of Delaware, $300 relief rebate payments. In May, Delaware started sending their quote relief rebate payments. All these states call them slightly different names, but let's be honest here, they're all basically stimulus checks, whatever you want to call them. Everybody kind of realizes the name of stimulus checks. You kind of go, hey, did you get your relief rebate payment today in the mail? And people be like, what are you talking about? But if you say, hey, did you get your stimulus check from the States? Well, they'll be like, oh yeah, yeah, I got it, right? I didn't get it yet. But yeah, that's basically the easiest way to say it. So yeah, in May, Delaware started sending out these $300 payments, and they're still going out, I believe. Most taxpayers should have received a check by the end of May. But if you file jointly with a spouse, each person will receive $300 each for a total of $600. The Department of Finance is expected to release instructions by October 17th on how to claim the rebate for residents who haven't filed a 2020 state tax return. Some states went by 2020s and some states went by 2021. Yeah, you can check your rebate status with you can Google this. There's a state website to do this here. Georgia, $250 rebate payments, aka checks, thanks to a historic state budget surplus. By the way, it's not just Georgia. Every single state at this point has a historic budget surplus. Every single state, as far as I think, it's hard to really look into the finances of every 50 states, but I haven't come across a single state yet who hasn't said they don't have a surplus. So, as far as I'm concerned, as far as, you know, just being practical here, all 50 states have a massive surplus. Now, smaller states have smaller surpluses and larger states have larger surpluses, but larger states also have more people to provide for. So also different states have different amount of debt as well based on their past history. So keep that in mind as well. You could probably Google that if you wanted to. For example, California used to be in massive, massive amounts of debt. If you live in California, you probably know this. And they've made a pretty dramatic turnaround. But that doesn't mean that a few badly years of running their state, I almost said their country. California is almost their GDP is almost as large as the country. In fact, it would be considered like the fifth or sixth largest GDP in the world. I know it's crazy, but some of these states that are doing well now, it doesn't mean that in the future they might not go back the other way. So just keep that in mind. They don't want to spend every dollar they have, but they do need to provide for their residents right now during this inflationary period, which is hurting a lot of people. So yeah, Georgia, $250 rebate payments. Residents who have filed both their 2020 and 2021 tax returns will be eligible to receive these $250 payments for Georgia. You can see here, single filers $250. If you're a single head of household, actually $375. Married filing jointly, $500. If you owe income tax to the state or you have delinquent child support payments, they may take the money. I mean, that I mean, that's kind of, it is what it is, right? Partial year residents may also receive a smaller rebate. Hawaii, Aloha, $300 rebate payments in January. Their governor proposed sending a tax rebate, and taxpayers earning less than $100,000 will receive $300, and those earning more than $100,000 would only receive $100. That seems fair. This is per person, so if you're a married couple, you'll receive $600. I think there's money in here. They've approved the rebate, but details for distribution has not been released. If I recall correctly, I think there's money in here for dependents as well. Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe there's money for dependents as well. If I recall correctly, and I'm just going off the top of my head here, but I think it's $100 extra for children in Hawaii. You'd have to look it up if you're from Hawaii. The state of Idaho, $75 rebate payments. A lot of these states are considering, or will be, some states are already, second checks as well. So there's so much money for these states here as they're bringing in money there that there's more checks coming. So keep that in mind. In February, Idaho Governor Brad Little signed a bill that allocated $350 million for tax rebates to Idahoans. There's two criteria for eligibility: full-time Idaho residency, filed a 2020 and 2021 tax return, or full-time Idaho residency and filed grocery credit refund returns. The payment began in March. You will receive either $75 or 12% of your Idaho state taxes, whichever is greater. Whichever is greater. They'll be sent via direct deposit and then paper checks. Over 800,000 people are expected to get checks by the end of this year. You can check your rebate status online. Indiana, $125 rebates. I know Indiana is these $125 ones are going out, and they're one of the states that is now considering a second check as well for more money. Like Georgia, Indiana found itself with a healthy budget, and they have already approved the $125 checks after you file your 2021 state taxes. There's no income requirements, so remember that a lot of these states, you might just want to file a tax return. If you don't normally file a tax return, you might want to go ahead and file a tax return with your state. There's no income requirement for this particular state, and so just keep that in mind. Payments started in May and are expected to continue through midsummer, according to state information page. Taxpayers who file jointly will receive a single deposit of $250. Yeah. You'll get it by direct deposit. If you changed banks, you'll receive a paper check. Maine, $850 direct payments. Yeah, those are pretty good. $850, and full-time residents making less than 100,000 or 200,000 for married couples. I mean, that's a healthy amount. Married filing jointly couples will receive $1,700. Whoo! Yeah, that's a pretty cool. And these first round of checks are going out in June. Let me know if you're in Maine and you already got this. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. This also includes an increased benefit for the Maine's Earned Income Tax Credit, which is also known as the adult tax credit for low-income earners. So there's also additional money tax credit there for you as well. New Jersey, $500 checks. In fall of 2021, New Jersey approved measures to send one-time $500 checks to nearly 1 million families. They have now proposed earmarking an additional $53 million to send 500 payments to those who file taxes using a taxpayer identification number instead of a Social Security number. These newly eligible people would include non-residents and resident aliens, basically people who were left out. So yeah, New Jersey's kind of already sent these out and are now going to send out a few more. So they've already sent out 1 million of these checks. And again, this is kind of one of these states that could send out even another one. The state of New Mexico, $500 rebate checks as well. These are going out right now. Taxpayers earning under $75,000, $150,000 for joint filers. They're going out in two payments of $250 each. But remember, it's a total of $500 per person. So it's $1,000 for a married couple. They go out in two different payments of $250 and $250. But it is $500 per person, $1,000 for married couples. Yep. Yeah, you could see here $500 and married couples for $1,000. Minnesota, $750 payments for frontline workers. Frontline workers will receive up to $750 thanks to a bill signed by Governor Tim Walz in May. Applications are now open through July 22nd, 2022. You can go to the website frontlinepay.mn.gov/submit, or you could Google it. Waltz also proposed using the state's $9.25 billion surplus to fund a generous relief package that proposes Minnesotans receive tax rebate checks of $500 per person. Per person. But they haven't been able to pass it yet. Next up, we have pending gas rebate and stimulus programs. There's a bunch of these. California has proposed either $400 checks to vehicle owners or $200 checks to per person to adults and $200 per child. So those are the two different proposals for Californians as well. Governor Newsom's proposal also includes cash payments of $1,500 to residents who work in hospitals and nursing facilities. That's interesting. California is almost surely going to pass something. They just got to figure out what they're going to do. Remember, they passed a massive stimulus package and stimulus check last year. It had rent assistance as well. If I recall, just for their state, this was in addition to federal rent assistance. So, yeah, and remember last year they were $600 stimulus checks and $500 stimulus checks if you had children in addition. Um, so, I can't predict the future, but I would guess odds are pretty high that they're going to send money out again this year. Whether it goes to people with cars, car owners, and they go through the California DMV, or they go to per person, I can't predict that. But I'd be pretty sure. This is just because California has so much money. They have a huge budget surplus. And just like I said, if we go back a few years ago, I don't know exactly how many years, 5 or 10 years ago, they had a deficit. So quite the turnaround there, quite the turnaround. And what we need to see is all the states doing this. The states, remember that each state got over $1 billion. Most, those are just, that's really for the tiny, tiny states. Most states got billions of dollars in surplus and they're just sitting on it. They're just sitting on it and they need to use it for their residents. So inflation's high, help the people out. This is stimulus money that came from the last stimulus package. Use it for stimulus to stimulate the people in your economy and help them out. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly proposed a one-time rebate check of $250, $500 for married couples for Kansas residents who filed a 2020 tax return. But they haven't passed it yet. Kentucky Senate approved a $1 billion rebate for states' taxpayers thanks to the state budget. While the legislation is still moving through the state legislature in conjunction with a broader income tax package, eligible Kentuckians will receive a one-time payment of up to $500 and $2,000 per household if it passes. If it passes for Kentucky. For Kentucky. North Carolina. North Carolina senators proposed a one-time payment of $200 to all licensed drivers, 18 and over. The proposal, named Gas Tax Rebate Act of 2022, would be funded by $1.3 billion of the state's revenue surplus. If passed, the bill would become effective by July 1st, with payments being sent out by October 1st for North Carolina. Pennsylvania. The state's highly contested gubernatorial race means there are multiple proposals floating around about Pennsylvania to help ease inflation by cutting the state's 57.6 cents per gallon gas tax. Whew! Yeah, that's a lot. The governor, Tom Wolf, has asked Congress, the state Congress that is, along with several other Democratic governors, to repeal the nation's 18.4-cent federal gas tax. Pennsylvania has also legislation pending that would provide up to $500 million in direct assistance to help families pay for expenses like childcare and household expenses that would send out checks for $2,000. That's directly from the governor. And he's trying to get the state legislature to pass it. Yep. Virginia has a $2.6 billion budget surplus. Governor Glenn Youngkin has advocating putting some of that money back into Virginians' pockets. There are two bills in the state legislature aimed at reducing or eliminating the state's 2.5% grocery tax and suspend the state's 26.2 cents per gallon gas tax, but was rejected by a Senate panel so far. And what's next for gas stimulus checks and federal stimulus checks? Well, just like all these states are literally flush with cash, billions of dollars of surplus money, well, the federal government is too. The federal government is like, think about all these states combined. They're flush with trillions of dollars of surplus money. President Biden says they're going to be able to pay down the federal deficit between 1.5 and 1.7 trillion dollars. That's how much tax money they're taking in right now. This is because people are going back to work. Unemployment right now is at a historic 50-year low around there. It's at 3.6% currently. This is part of the reason why inflation is heating up, because the economy is heating up. The problem is that inflation is too high. Yeah, so but a lot of people have gone back to work, but we also have the gas issues and supply chain issues and all these other issues. But the federal government has more money than all the states, so they could easily do what the states are doing as well. In fact, there's $800 billion of stimulus money that has already been approved and is passed by Congress from stimulus package 1, 2, and 3. Stimulus package 1 and 2 were underneath former President Trump. Stimulus package 3 underneath current President Biden. And all that money kind of combined that is approved but unspent, $800 billion. And actually, what former President Donald Trump did, what he did with approved money that was approved by Congress but not spent yet, he actually did a presidential executive order and took that congressionally approved money and reallocated it with an executive order, and basically reallocated it and sent it out with basically stimulus checks or unemployment checks, bonus checks, whatever you want to call them, whatever name you want to call it, just like these state stimulus checks, whatever you want to call them, state stimulus checks, relief checks, tax rebate checks, whatever. Remember, a stimulus check is actually a tax rebate check. But former President Donald Trump took that congressionally approved money that was already approved and just reallocated it with unemployment stimulus checks. So now there's $800 billion of stimulus money there now that could be done with the same way. Or they could use it for the next stimulus package. They could use it for rebate checks, inflation checks to help out low and middle income people deal with this gas prices, whatever. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts here in the comments, and I'll keep you up to date here with all these states. There's a lot of states considering more coming out here in the future. I'll keep you up to date with that and the federal government here. Um, you've just seen it on the screen. They're literally coming out here by the week, new checks. So I will keep you up to date here. Make sure to click the subscribe button down below. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So click subscribe. It's completely free to do so. And then click the bell icon so you get notifications as soon as we go live. I will keep you up to date. Also, make sure to check out ClickUp down below in the description of this video. And next up, you can click this video here about the $2,400 Social Security raise. And here is my newest video. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.